The Nation. Akpabio, Abbas, lawmakers will back Tinubu to deliver. Central Bank lifts restrictions on domiciliary account. As bulldozers roar in Alaba, Ohanes cautions against fake news. I was poisoned in 2018, says Wike. Investors gain 3.28 trillion in 3 weeks. South African displaces Dangote as Africa's richest. Banks tighten forex process to block racketeering. And overloading windy rain cause of Kwara boat tragedy. Okay, which story are we taking?
Should we talk about our uncle?
Oh, yeah.
Our uncle is not #1 anymore, but he's still a billionaire. Anyway, so they say the President Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote, has been overtaken as African richest man after his net worth dropped by 20.7%. And this was as a result of the devaluation of our naira. They said that Dangote's wealth dropped by $2.80 billion to $10.7 billion from $13.5 billion, costing him the richest man position for the first time since 2008. The person who overtook him is a South African billionaire called Johan Rupert, and so he has a net worth of, his own net worth increased by 1.3 billion, moving him from 10.7 billion to 13.5 billion. I'm saying that billionaires, no matter how many billions they lose, they're still billionaires. Yes, for us to just...
Okay. And everybody's just one policy away from either losing or gaining.
Let me talk about the demolition. Lagos State yesterday began the demolition of 17 distressed structures in Alaba International Market. And obviously, lots of fake news started saying that Lagos State was actually the government was actually trying to target Igbo residents in Lagos, or victimize Igbo residents in Lagos. But actually, general manager of the Lagos Building Control Agency, that's Mr. Gbolan, he said that these structures had to be demolished because they've sent notices about 6 to 7 years ago, since as far back as 2016, 2020, and 2022, and several other issues this year to remind all the owners of those buildings that they will be pulled down. Ohanes Ndigbo has also sent a message across saying that people should stop spreading the propaganda, or especially media houses stop spreading the propaganda, that this was a direct intention to victimize Igbos within Lagos. According to their own investigation, the reliable information showed that the directive was not related to plazas and shops, and that the issue of it being victimization is fake and propaganda meant to raise tension and cause dissatisfaction between the Igbos and Lagos and their Lagos hosts. There's nothing of such.
I saw the buildings. It wasn't looking good at all. Any reasonable human being would not want to be in those structures. They really looked bad. And they've been sending them these warnings from 2016. They sent another one in 2022. You know, they kept sending. And one of the reasons they didn't add it to the 340-something houses they wanted to demolition was the fact that they could not even ascertain the level, because anytime they go there, those people attack the officials. It's just, so as a result of the action taken at the Extraordinary Bankers Committee on Friday, deposits into withdrawal from the foreign currency accounts are now open. This is according to the Central Bank of Nigeria. So they are saying that a domiciliary account holder can now make daily transfer not exceeding 10,000 or its equivalent. The banks are to provide returns to the CBN, including the purpose for such transactions. Now, ordinary domiciliary account holders shall have unfettered and unrestricted access funds into their account. Domiciliary account holders are permitted to utilize cash deposits not exceeding 10,000 per day or its equivalent via telegraphic transfer. They also, said that one of the reasons they are doing this and having these policy changes is to promote transparency, liquidity, and price discovery in the foreign exchange market in order to prove or to improve forex supply, discourage speculation, enhance customer confidence, and ensure over stability in the FX market. So people are no longer afraid of having to be able to take their dollars out of their account or be able to pay their dollars. Yes, and even businesses.
It didn't make sense.
Yeah, you could only transfer inflow. You can't even do anything.
You can't do anything. You can't get any amount. I just wish the dollars would be available when you want to withdraw. that may be another thing.
But now that I can even transfer it, hopefully to...
I want to take the story of former governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike. He said that...
I can't believe Governor Wike is now former
governor.
That's nice.
But
I feel that we will not hear the last of him, no matter what.
Go ahead.
It was a major Thanksgiving. You know, he was doing a Thanksgiving, thanking God for his life, and he shared a lot of story. He had several near-death experiences. He said that in 2018, he was poisoned. He was poisoned to the point where he had most of his organs shut down. He thought he was going to die, and after a while, let me first mention that the president was represented by the governor of Lagos State at the Thanksgiving. There were about 35 members of House of Representatives present at the Thanksgiving, as well as the Senate president, all celebrating with him, and he was doing a breakdown of all that happened to him in the 8 years, that it was turbulent getting him to become the governor of Rivers State, and it was almost turbulent all through. Many people assume that when you're a politician and you have this position, all is well with you, but that wasn't the case for him. Aside from being poisoned, after he was poisoned, he couldn't even go to any party member's house because he happened at the party secretariat. So he was suspecting everyone. He could not eat at anybody's place. Imagine that kind of life of fear. And then he mentioned how the plane he was traveling with, the engine exploded, and he had to do a U-turn back to Port Harcourt, how his wife got cancer just before contesting for presidential elections. Like, a lot of things happened, and he's truly grateful to God that he is alive right now, and we're grateful to God for your life as well.
Okay, the Punch, quickly. Subsidy, Labour threatens strike, resumes talks with FG. NDLEA Labs, Qatar-based drug barons, seizes cannabis. 8 feared killed as flood submerges Lagos community. Operator overloaded, ill-fated boat with 250 passengers, says NIWA. Ship owners reject proposed Nimasa Customs merger. NUT lambasts governors as teacher shortage rises. CBN removes saving withdrawal limits on domiciliary accounts. And power projects, FG secures $750 million World Bank loan. All right, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we do the review. Stay with us, we'll be right back. 2 Qatar-based drug barons were arrested by the NDLEA, Eyah Nnamdi and Ugwuoke Oluchukwu. Oluchukwu was actually first arrested on his way out in Doha. They realized that he was using an Ivorian passport with the name Hein Nassese. And when with further scrutiny on his carry-on luggage, they found 2 parcels of crystalline substance that tested positive for meth, weighing about 1 kg. Further investigation led them to another gentleman in Enugu. His name is Murphy, and he found out his name actually was Eyah Celestine Nnamdi, who also lived in Indonesia for about 6 years, and he's been working. He's like the main drug baron in Enugu that works with this gentleman in Qatar. Yes. Sorry?
He's not a gentleman.
Okay, that's a gentleman. And then also, they also arrested another lady, Ikeja Lagos, in Kaduna, following her alleged attempt to use forged documents to purchase and distribute 6 cartons of pentazocine injection with 22,000 ampules. She confessed that she used fake documents from a Kaduna hospital to order the drug, which she planned to distribute in Kaduna and Abuja and Sokoto. And these are all fake drugs. Really, really sad. It's a real industry that needs to be tackled head on.
Yeah, we also have another sad story. They said the whereabouts of a yet-to-be-identified mother, her baby, and 6 other persons, including a man identified simply as Omar, has been reportedly been unknown after a flood happened in Agege area of the state. So the flood happened on Thursday after the heavy downpour, and it overran a canal around the abattoir area in Agege, leveled up to the bridge, making it very impossible for passerbys and motorists to find their way to their destination. So according to the story, they said a tricycle man who was alone in his own vehicle entered into the flood, but he was able to escape, but then he lost his tricycle. Another tricycle having about 5 passengers entered into that flood and they disappeared. They were not able to rescue any of them. Another woman who was walking along the road when the flood started had a baby on the back, and the flood carried her. When somebody saw that had happened, a gentleman jumped in trying to save the woman and her baby, and 3 of them were swept away. So they are still searching for their body. They have not been able to find any of them. They are still missing at the time of the report. And the government is saying that they need to keep resensitizing people about flooding. So when you see that a flood is happening, that's not the time. Just stop and stay wherever you are. That's not the time to get into the flood. A lot of people still do not have that information. Just a painful one.
Yes, I have NUT lambast governors as teacher shortage rises. So there's a report that many states are currently battling with a shortage of teachers, as those who have retired have not been replaced through regular recruitment. The national president for NUT, Mr. Titus Amba, says that many governors have shunned the advice that, as teachers are retiring, they should be replaced using a proper and regular recruitment. They said a good number of teachers have left the service. Until now, there's no plan to replace them. And that's why the NUT also fought for the elongation of the service so that it would cushion the effect of sudden retirement. They said that they are pleading with these governors, to listen to them and do what is needed. They also said that many states were named, that were affected by, that were the worst affected, but it says it's everywhere. And also concerning the different subjects, it says different subject teachers are retiring yearly and there are no teachers to take up from where they have left. They said public, primary school, secondary school, so it's just all across board. They said that between 2022 and 23, no fewer than 1,500 teachers retired without replacement. Does not make sense. Then we have some reaction from the state governments. They said in Delta State, the former governor, Ifeanyi Okowa, had employed teachers before leaving office, and they were taken to the rural areas because that's where most of the shortages are. Yeah. Most of these teachers found their way, left these rural areas, and went back to urban centers. Yeah. So it's a two-way thing. Some of them do not like to be in those places. Yeah. It's such a huge, long report, so I think people should read up on it.
I want to take the story about the NIMASA and the ship owners custom merging. The President, Bola Tinubu, has been getting advice from his Policy Advisory Council, and they recommended a state of emergency be declared on the revenue generation within the country. They proposing FIRS, that's for tax, NCS, that's customs, and NIMASA be merged into the Nigerian Revenue Service in order to enable efficient collection of direct and indirect taxes on behalf of the federal government. Now, there is a group of indigenous ship owners under the aegis of Ship Owners Association of Nigeria, and they have kicked against the proposed merger of NIMASA and Nigerian Customs and FIRS together, that this is not acceptable, that they know the president wants to get advice, but he should also consult with stakeholders within the industry. Speaking on behalf of them is the president of SWAN, Mr. Oyong. He said that NIMASA is an international body. It is not a Nigerian organization alone. It is an international, it's under the, it's an instrument of the International Monetary Organization under the auspices of United Nations. It is not generating money for Nigeria. It is generating money to manage. The manage is not local. It is international managing the aviation industry. So they have a lot to say concerning how NIMASA is too important to merge with another.
If money is passing through that NIMASA, and that money that could be used for Nigeria also. So the president is saying, if I have money leaking from there, if I have money leaking from NCS,
and
if I have money, merge it and I can monitor it properly, because right now it's about revenue. We need to go away from
They
oil.
are proposing that if they do that, that Nigeria will be sea blind, because NIMASA is a security agency as well. So I think that it's important that they are brought in so that they can express themselves, and maybe they will get the answers they need before the policy then takes effect.
Okay, Nigerian Tribune, CBN lifts cash deposits cap on domiciliary account. More felicitations as Eyah Nnamdi emerges NGE president. Bandits kill father, 4 sons in Zaria, Russell, 100 cows. Disclose pension paid to you as ex-governors, Serap tells Akpabio others in 10th Senate. Lagos government begins demolition of 17 distressed buildings in Alaba. I was poisoned, flown to Beirut, suffered kidney, liver failure, says Wike. FG malls are set rationalization sale of refineries. Saudi Arabia announces June 27th Arafat Day, and police deploy mobile policemen to troubled Plateau local government. Okay, which story?
I have a story from, they said suspected bandits on Saturday night at about 10 p.m. in Dorei, I think I'm pronouncing it right, village in Zaria local government. They killed the traditional title holder, the Ado of Birni and Kiwaye of Zazzau Emirate. They said the bandits came in, they brought the man out from his room, shot him twice in the head, he died instantly. Then they went around the compound, that's the wife now giving the account, and shot her 4 sons. These men, her children are married with children. One of them survived, and he also said the bandits on their way out of their compound shot 2 other people, and they rustled their cows, about 100 of their cows, and and they left. The police command says it's not aware of the incident as of the time of this report.
So I want to take the story from SERAP. We mentioned it, but I'm happy that SERAP has taken a legal action. The SERAP is Social Economic Rights and Accountability Project, has urged the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, and 13 other former state governors in the 10th Assembly to disclose the amounts they're getting as pension. He said that they should follow many things, but they should follow the example of the Senator Saraki, Senate President Bukola Saraki, that said it was wrong for him to collect, and he didn't collect while he was within the Senate. He didn't collect it. He said Nigerians expect you to act in public interest, including by ending the collection of any life pension from your respective states and return such pensions that have been collected to the Treasury. Collecting life pension as a former governor while in the Senate would clearly violate constitutional provision and will amount to taking advantage of entrusted public positions. And I totally agree with that. The letter was sent on June 3rd. They said if they don't get any information a week from June 3rd, they will take legal actions to find out if money was actually being paid from the states to these senators and what should be done to that payment.
Okay, another story in Tribune. Let me take, following the sighting of the crescent moon, the month of Dhul Hijjah, the 12th month of June. So it's been said from Saudi Arabia that June 27th as Arafat Day, which means that June 28th is going to be Eid al-Kabir. I mean, many Muslims are getting ready for the celebration. Hajj rites will commence on Monday, June 26th, when Nigerian pilgrims already in the Holy Land will join their counterparts around the world to move to Muna, the 10th city, from where they will converge on Mount Arafat, also called the Jabal Rama, which is compulsory aspect of the pilgrimage. It's the 5th pillar of Islam, and it's something that has to be done. And I'm really happy, and we hope that they have a good pilgrimage as they've all planned to go to Hajj this year. Any other story? Let's move on quickly if we have time.
Points. The
points. Sack fever grips APC, NWC members. Man shot dead while trying to resolve couple's quarrel. Wow. Bukachua's rare confession exposes rot in Nigeria's judiciary. Sexual harassment by employers forced me into shoemaking, says female cobbler. Okay?
Yeah, so a middle-aged man identified as Amos Akba have been killed while trying to settle a quarrel between a couple in the Ugwuoke village in Onitsha Ibueze community, Onitsha local government area of Ebonyi State. And the victim is a motorcycle mechanic. He was shot dead by the man Sunday Akba Mwamahi, who was fighting his wife. So they had come to, get them settled. The man got upset and walked away, and then they left. After a while, they decided to take his wife back to him, packed her things and took her back to her husband's house and tried to settle them. But then he came out from where he was hiding with a gun and shot. So we don't know who the gun was targeted at, but it landed in one of his relatives and the man died. The man is a family man. He has his own wife and children, and he lost his life just trying to settle their quarrel.
Okay. The Guardian, we have to run right now, but there was a story that caught my attention. Forced over bill to regulate Christian preaching. It's an interesting proposition, but
let's read about it.
We'll read about it some other time and find out more information. Let's go on a break now. When we come back, move on to our hot topic of the day. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.